The region of Kashmir, once renowned for its beauty and tranquility, has long become a symbol of unresolved pain in South Asia. Since the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947, this mountainous territory has been trapped in a storm of conflict involving three major powers: India, Pakistan, and China. These nations are not only driven by territorial ambitions, but are also entangled in matters of religious identity, military strategy, access to natural resources, and nuclear geopolitics. Meanwhile, the world watches from afar, sometimes speaking out, often silent, while the people of Kashmir live under the shadow of guns, military patrols, and an uncertain future. It all began when the British decided to partition the Indian subcontinent into two nations based on religion: India for the Hindu majority and Pakistan for Muslims. But not all territories seamlessly followed this division. One such region was the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir, ruled at the time by a Hindu monarch, Maharaja Hari Singh, despite its predominantly Muslim population. Initially, the Maharajas chose to remain independent, hoping to preserve autonomy. However, this neutrality sparked disaster. In October 1947, armed tribal militias supported by Pakistan invaded Kashmir, forcing the Maharaj to seek military assistance from India. India agreed on the condition that Kashmir formally accede to India. The Maharaja signed the instrument of accession, and India then considered Kashmir as its integral territory. Pakistan rejected this decision, arguing that Kashmir, being a Muslim-majority region, should naturally be part of Pakistan. This disagreement soon escalated into open warfare. The United Nations intervened and brokered a ceasefire in 1949, establishing the Line of Control, LOC, as a de facto border. Yet, this was a fragile status quo, not a formal settlement. Since then, Kashmir has remained divided, the western part administered by Pakistan and the eastern part controlled by India. Tensions flared again in the wars of 1965 and in subsequent military engagements. China entered the picture during the 1962 Sino-Indian War, gaining control of Aksai Chin, a territory claimed by India as part of Ladakh. Geographically, Kashmir occupies a highly strategic location, making it a contested prize. Nestled between Pakistan, India, and China, it lies at the heart of South Asia, serving as a gateway to Tibet, the deserts of Xinjiang, and routes to Central Asia. The regions of Ladakh and Gilgit-Baltistan border key infrastructure projects such as the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, part of China's larger Belt and Road Initiative. For India, Kashmir is a critical northern frontier and a vital point of military surveillance. For Pakistan, Kashmir is not just about land. It is a symbol of Islamic solidarity and the perceived oppression of Muslims under Indian rule. Beyond geography, water is another key issue. Kashmir is the source of the Indus River system, which sustains both Pakistan and northern India. Major rivers like the Jhelum, Chenab, and Indus originate in the Kashmir Himalayas. Controlling Kashmir means controlling water, an increasingly scarce and vital resource amid climate change and population growth. Although India and Pakistan signed the Indus Waters Treaty in 1960, tensions remain high, with each side accusing the other of exploiting water flows to their disadvantage. While states bicker and strategize, the people of Kashmir suffer deeply. In Indian-administered Kashmir, particularly the valley, reports of human rights abuses are frequent. Internet shutdowns, arbitrary detentions, curfews, restrictions on religious practices, and even accusations of torture and enforced disappearances are common. India maintains one of the world's largest military presences in the region, turning Kashmir into a permanent conflict zone. On the Pakistani-administered side, civil liberties are also restricted, although the scale of repression is reportedly lower. In Gilgit-Baltistan, protests continue over unclear administrative status and the marginalization of the Shia Muslim community. Demographically, Kashmir is diverse. The Kashmir Valley is predominantly Sunni Muslim. Jammu, also under Indian administration, has a Hindu majority. Ladakh is split between Buddhists in Leh and Shia Muslims in Kargil. Pakistan-administered regions like Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan are entirely Muslim but include both Sunni and Shia populations. Aksai Chin, under Chinese control, is sparsely populated but strategically critical for military logistics between Tibet and Xinjiang. This diversity has been used by all three countries to justify their respective political and territorial claims. Though Kashmir itself is not a site for nuclear testing, the conflict is deeply shadowed by nuclear threats. India conducted its first nuclear test in Pokhran, Rajasthan in 1974, followed by more in 1998. Pakistan responded with tests in Chagai Hills, Balochistan, the same year. China has been a nuclear power since 1964, testing in Lop Nur, Xinjiang. While these tests occurred outside Kashmir, the region is acutely vulnerable due to its proximity to the borders of 3 nuclear-armed nations. During the 1999 Kargil conflict, India reportedly mobilized its nuclear arsenal. Any major escalation in Kashmir risks triggering a nuclear exchange that could devastate the region, and potentially the world. From the outset, international organizations such as the United Nations attempted to mediate. In 1948, the UN Security Council passed Resolution 47, calling for a referendum so Kashmiris could decide their future. However, this vote never took place. India demanded Pakistan withdraw all troops from its territory first, something that never happened. Since then, the UN's role has been limited to deploying unarmed military observers along the LOC. Human rights organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have repeatedly criticized abuses in Kashmir, but India dismisses foreign interference, framing Kashmir as a domestic issue. Pakistan, meanwhile, uses platforms such as the UN General Assembly and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, to demand Indian withdrawal, while glossing over rights violations on its own side. Global reactions to the conflict vary widely. Western powers like the US and the UK historically maintain an ambiguous stance, supporting democratic values and human rights, while also pursuing defense contracts and trade with India, a key market. China plays a dual role, both as a stakeholder in the conflict and as a strategic balancer against India in the broader Asian theater. Muslim-majority countries often express symbolic support for Pakistan, though economic interests are pushing some, like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, closer to India. Amid this geopolitical chess game, the voices of the Kashmiri people are often lost or manipulated for political gain. In truth, most Kashmiris simply want peace. They want to attend school without military checkpoints, to worship without fear of raids, to walk freely without the threat of being abducted. They are weary of politics, propaganda, and violence. But as long as their fate is dictated by distant capitals and military strategies, they remain voiceless. Hopes for the long-promised referendum have dimmed further since India revoked Jammu and Kashmir's special autonomy in 2019, dividing it into 2 union territories and placing it under direct federal control, along with prolonged lockdowns and communications blackouts. Kashmir remains an open wound. A land once famed for lakes and saffron now evokes images of barbed wire and unidentified victims. The world watches, sometimes condemning, often remaining silent. But for the people of Kashmir, each day is a struggle for dignity and survival amid a conflict that refuses to end. This is not merely a territorial dispute. It is a battle over who has the right to decide the future of the people who live there. And until that right is respected and realized, Kashmir will remain a flashpoint threatening not just regional, but global stability.